Everything that is happening in Ukraine now indicates that Russia is not going to make any concessions.
Moreover, in anticipation of the upcoming negotiations, the Russian army continues to increase its offensive pace in all key areas of the front.
Almost every day, the Russian army takes control of another strategically important settlement. And today was no exception either. So, a few hours ago, war correspondents reported on the complete liberation of the settlement of Andriivka by the Russian army, in the Kurakovo direction of the front. My dear truth seekers, let me remind you that the day before, the Russian Defense Ministry also recognized the liberation of the settlement of Dakhnoy, west of Kurakovo. Thus, as of February 12, the Russian army had created all the necessary conditions for the operational encirclement of Ukrainian units in such settlements as Ulikli and Constantinople. It is reported that these settlements may be liberated by Russian troops in the next few days. Simultaneously with this, the Russian aerospace forces, together with the missile forces, continue to launch massive missile strikes against military installations and energy infrastructure facilities in Ukraine. Against this backdrop, the massive missile attack on Ukraine that took place on the night of February 11 should be mentioned. It is noteworthy that this missile attack has already been called the most powerful and massive. According to preliminary data, Russia used about 70 cruise and ballistic missiles during this attack, including the newest samples as the Kh-69 and KALIBR-M. In addition, about 200 germanium kamikaze drones were also involved in this missile attack. The main targets of these missiles and kamikaze drones were military installations of the Ukrainian army and NATO forces, as well as energy infrastructure facilities in such regions of Ukraine as Kyiv, Sumy, Dnipropetrovsk, Cherkasy, Nikolaev, Odessa, Kharkiv, and Poltava. It is reliably known that these missiles were fired on the territory of Ukraine with the help of dozens of Russian warships, and about 22 95ms and 222 M3 strategic bombers. In addition, combat crews of 10 Iskander missile systems also took part in this attack. According to independent monitoring services and numerous witnesses, about 70 powerful explosions were recorded in all key cities of these Ukrainian regions. By the morning of February 12, some details of this massive Russian attack had already emerged. So, in the Kyiv region, in cities such as Brovary and Boryspil, at least 5 explosions were recorded. As it turned out, Russian missiles hit and destroyed 2 weapons depots in the northeastern part of the city of Brovary, and 1 radar station at the airport in Boryspil. In Sumy and Dnipropetrovsk regions, in cities such as Sumy and Kryvyi Rog, germanium kamikaze drones, together with Iskander-M ballistic missiles, hit 7 industrial and military facilities. In the Cherkasy region, in cities such as Uman and Checheren, Russian missiles hit and destroyed 2 fuel storage facilities. Currently, local firefighters are trying to extinguish the fire that started at these facilities, but without success.
In the Nikolaev region, in settlement of Martinovka, Russian missiles rained down on the territory of a military airbase. As a result of this attack, 2 Ukrainian Mi-8 helicopters were destroyed. In the eastern part of the Odessa region, Russian kamikaze drones destroyed 8 electric transformers and steel pillars of 15 power lines. The destruction of dozens of power lines and electric transformers was also recorded in key cities of the Kharkiv region. As a result, power outages began to be observed in the central, southern, northern, and even western parts of Ukraine. By the way, a few minutes ago, the Ministry of Energy of Ukraine acknowledged significant damage to the country's energy infrastructure.
According to the Minister of Energy of Ukraine, German Galashchenko, the damage to the country's energy infrastructure is so high that even with the help of Western allies, Kiev will not be able to restore the normal energy supply in the coming months. Moreover, German Galashchenko also confirmed serious damage to almost all of Ukraine's gas fields. Against this backdrop, he urged citizens to stock up on firewood, as on these cold days, when the air temperature falls below zero, Ukraine will not be able to provide its citizens with power and heat. Commenting on the massive missile attack on Ukraine's energy facilities during the peak of winter, pro-government Ukrainian military expert Bohdan Moroshnikov stated that this further demonstrates that Russia has no interest in negotiations. According to him, Russia only needs Ukraine's unconditional surrender, and Moscow stops at nothing until it achieves its goal. Meanwhile, it is also worth paying attention to the missile attack on the Poltava region. In particular, on the night of February 11, at least 8 latest Kalibr-M cruise missiles rained down on the territory of the military airbase in the city of Mirgorod. The Ukrainian army and NATO forces used this airbase to launch rocket and bomb attacks not only on the Crimean Peninsula, but also on the positions of Russian troops in the Pokrovsk direction of the front. According to representatives of the Russian underground in Ukraine, a day before this missile strike, a group of French military was spotted in the city of Mirgorod. As it turned out, they were the French Air Force officers. They were on the grounds of this airbase for additional training of Ukrainian pilots to operate French Mirage 2000 fighters, which had been delivered to Ukraine a few days prior. At the same time, representatives of the Russian underground emphasized that the main targets of the Russian cruise missiles were precisely French pilots and fighter jets. According to them, as a result of this missile attack, 3 fighters of the Ukrainian Air Force, Su-27, MiG-29, and Mirage 2000, were seriously damaged. In addition, 3 Ukrainian pilots, who were supposed to operate French fighter jets, were killed. France also suffered losses. It is reported that at least 1 French Air Force officer was seriously injured. Currently, doctors are battling to save his life. There is a strong likelihood that he may not survive.